Okay, today we're going to be talking more about active record migrations. And as you can read here, active record migrations are a way that we can evolve our database schema over time. So we've already used one in the scaffold, actually generated a migration for us to create a table. And I can show you that quickly here. Database migrate. We have this is our migration file to actually create the table for devices, and the scaffold generated that for us. So we can create more of those because, like I said, this migrations are used to evolve your schema over time, and we can use migrations pretty much to do anything like creating tables, adding fields, removing fields, changing data types, um, pretty much anything you do to your database schema you would do through migration. And what's cool about that, and we'll probably see more and more as we move forward in the class, is that a migration is something you can run and it'll update your database schema. But if it's not quite right, you can roll back and undo the migration. So that's pretty cool, and definitely something I'm sure we'll pull that trick out of the hat at some point. So what I wanted to do today was create a migration that adds another field to a device. We'll call it operating system, just so we can track the operating system for each. So I want to show you how to do that. First thing I want to do is generate the migration. I will provide this link in the notes, but again, to create a migration is you'll use a generator, again built into Rails, and it could be as simple as Rails generate migration, and then you give it a name. You could also generate a migration and have it add the field and the data type for you. So Rails generate migration, add number to products, and you'll get this migration add column to products part number string. So we're going to do something like that, and let's try it out. In fact, I could probably even take something like this and just borrow it and just update it. Let's see, I'm going to have operating system, and I'm not adding parts to products. I'm adding operating system to devices. So notice the naming of this migration here is in Pascal case or camel case, where the first letter of each word is in a capital letter. But the field name, as it will be stored in the database, needs to be snake case. So notice operating system is in snake case. So I think that looks good. Let's run it and see what Rails generates for us. Okay, so it generated a migration, and let's go check it out. So yeah, there's the file that popped in, and it says add column to devices, which is what we want, an operating system field of type string. So I think that's perfect. So let's go ahead and run the migration, because this generates the file, but in order to actually update the database, you need to run the migration too. So the command for this, I think I did this last time, Rails db migrate. So Rails db migrate will actually run any unran migrations. Okay, so let's read this. Here's your file. It's migrating. It's going to add this column and migrate it. So if something didn't work right, it would have given you an error. So everything ran great here. I'm going to go into my Rails console. So I have a different tab here in my terminal. And can I clear here? Nope. I'm going to see, I think I'm gonna have to reload or something. Yeah, I think I'm gonna exit out of here and get back into the console. And just type in device. Okay. Yes. So device.column names tells me what fields are on my model, and I have ID, company name, created at, updated at, and there's operating system. So the migration did successfully add that field to the database. Cool, so I think we're good to go on the database side of things. Let's go wire everything up in the model and the views so that we can view and edit and update that field as well. So I'm going to jump over to my model, which is in app models, and we have device. This is where we left it last time, and I think, yeah, I do want to validate this, so make sure they have one. And then one thing that I want to do, in fact, if I go back to here, is number one, I want to show operating system in here. Number two, whether new or edit. I'm sure I broke something. Here, let me take this out for now. I do want to display like a drop down of items in here, like Android, iOS, BlackBerry, Windows, other. So that's my goal here, is to provide a drop down. And so I could store that in another table, but I think for now I'm just going to store it into an array. I don't know if it was giving me that error because I need to restart Rails. Let me double check that. I'm going to restart the Rails server and go back and add this. Let's see if it blows up on me again. Nope, didn't blow up this time. So maybe I just need to restart Rails after my migration. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So keynote there. I'll put that down. I'll make a note of that as well. But anyway, what I was saying was I want to make a drop-down list that you can select the operating system. So I could put that into another table, and maybe at some point I would, but for now I'm just going to create an array. And so I'm going to create that within this device model. I'm just going to call it operating systems. And I can create that here. So there are my choices for right now. Cool. In fact, I can even confirm that in the console. Reload, device, operating systems. Cool. And there's my array of operating systems. So that worked. All right. How do I get this in the form? So let's do that now. I'm going to jump over to App, Views, and we want to put it into our form. This form is shared by the new template as well as the edit template. So I can show you that real quick. So anytime you see, actually not in show, sorry, new, we have this render form, right? Form is this template that it's actually named with an underscore. And anytime you see a template named with starting with an underscore, that means it's a partial. It's going to be used in another template, and that's exactly what's being done here on line 3. And then you'll see the same thing in the edit. So it looks very similar. So there's a edit form, but the convention there is this form name is actually corresponds to the underscore form here on the file that's named. And those are both, they share the same form because that's, when you edit or create a new one, it's the same thing anyway. So, all right, so let's add this in here. And maybe I'll grab this as a starting point. And we're adding operating system. Now this one's a little different because it's not just a text field, it's a select, right? It's a select field. And then the way you add it in here is you need to give it the field name and then just reference the array, just kind of like we did in the console. Operating systems. And then I'm also going to have a default value of select and operating system. So that way they can see what they need to do in the UI. All right, let's see what that looks like. I'm going to save this, go over back to my browser, and go to new, and see if I can get the new refresh select drop down. There it is, select an operating system. Cool. I wonder if that validation actually works on this. Let's see. Yes, operating system cannot be blank. Awesome, very, very cool. Let's go back to edit. Yep, it caught operating system cannot be blank. So we're gonna have to update the data on these. Ooh, it didn't select that. So looks like I'm gonna have to work out a detail there and get back to you. Not sure why it's doing that. Let me inspect it. Values. Oh, one more thing. Yes, I think I need to do one more thing. If I go into the controllers, I believe I need to add, yes. See, in Rails, they really, for security purposes, they don't want anybody, if they were to probe and attack your site, to be able to inject parameters. They don't want that to happen easily. So down here in the devices controller, it says never trust parameters from the scary internet. Only allow a whitelist through. So company and name are already there, but I need to add operating system. Because that's, I'm allowing that, and that's totally cool, but we don't want any other things to be allowed through. Let's try that out again. Do a quick refresh here. Let's see if it goes through. Yes, awesome. So yeah, forgot that one step about whitelisting that attribute so it could go through. Awesome. Well, what else? We need to show it here, and we also need to show it in the show view. So let's go update our views. We have show, and again, I'll just swipe one of these. And then also in the index, which displays all of them, I'm just going to do a quick add right here. go back over here and refresh. Awesome. So there's the operating system. Should probably add a title up here. Yes. Update the call span. And there we go. Look at that. Very cool. And if I do let's see if I edit. Actually, let me go back and update one of these other ones. Android for Google update. And here's the show page, which also has the operating system. Excellent. We are looking good. So to recap, what we did is we first created a migration. Then we went into our model and added a validation. We added an array for operating systems because we want that to display in the dropdown. Then in the form, we added a new field. In our controller, in order to whitelist that parameter, we had to add it to the device params, which is at the very bottom of the controller. This is shared by all the actions in here. So we had to add operating system there. And then finally, we updated and displayed operating system in our show and displayed it in our index view. So awesome, awesome. So yeah, definitely look into those items. I will add links to validations and form elements in the notes. And that's it for now. Talk to you later.